Welcome everyone to Music City Model Works. I want to go ahead and give you a kind of a heads up on what my next project is going to be. And first I want to say a couple of words and final words on the Chi-Town Hustler. I want to say first of all how much I appreciate all the kind words that have comments that have been left in response to the car. I really appreciate it. The car assembled almost perfectly. Very few issues, only a couple really that were of any consequence at all. It's a great car. It's a great kit. Having said that, I will say that it is not. I would not recommend it for a fairly new modeler, someone who is not, especially someone who's not put together a at least one lesser complicated car. And this one's really not complicated. I kind of hate to use that word. The frame, I guess, is the biggest issue on this car. It's well engineered. I read somewhere that Revell went and took numerous pictures of the real one-to-one car. Did lots of pictures of the frame, because it's an unusual frame, just in that the driver sits to the driver's side like in a normal vehicle, instead of right behind the motor in the middle of the car, and uses basically a top fuel type chassis and frame. This car utilizes a little bit wider chassis and frame, and the motor sits to the passenger side of the car, and the driver sits in the kind of where the driver normally sits for balance. And I assume balance is the main thing, but I think I read somewhere also they felt like they were getting better traction with the setup like that. But whatever the reason, they went to meticulous lengths to get this frame right. I have looked at one-to-one pictures of the car, and the frame is almost, to the bolt, like the real one-to-one car is. So, and in saying that, the frame is extremely delicate. The frame rails are very fragile. They bend real easily. I'm really glad I didn't have to put the frame together. The frame, except for assembling the rear end and then fastening the rear end to the frame. The tough part about that is the rear axle, the rear trailing arms, the rear shocks, and there's one cross member in the back that all pretty much have to come together as one unit, and they are separate. They all are separate, really, in their the shocks are separate. The cross members separate. The axle, the rear axle assembly, you put that together, and then you put your trailing arms together and all that. So you really have to test fit and be on your P's and Q's when you put that rear end assembly together. The only real issue I had with the car was the left side, the driver's side trailing arm was a tad bit short. It almost did not reach its mounting point. What I wound up doing, where the rear axle assembly, there is the rear axle has a notch, and there's a tab that goes into that notch from the top. What I had to do, I had to kind of enlarge that notch on the driver's side in order to let the car move a little bit further to the rear end to move just a tad bit further to the nose on that left side. Now, in doing that, I had to do the right side as well, so the axle would be exactly, even, where one wheel wasn't in front of the other. I mean, I didn't have to, you wouldn't know it by looking at the car, but I did have to do that in order for that trailing arm, because the two rear pins of the trailing arm on the driver's side, they mount up like this to the front side of the axle assembly. So the bottom pin on this side would not reach. So what I did was I moved it. I cut the notch out to where I had to move this axle assembly further, and it made it touch. Now that what I had to do to offset the top one being perfectly fitting is I had to trim just a little bit of the pin that mounted into that top part. I had to trim that off so that one wouldn't be too long. So other than that, that was it. Everything else went together like clockwork. So like I said, anyway, everything else went together great. It's a great kit. So I'm going to show you what, if you know me, you know that I pretty well try to put my finished models into some kind of little case, with a little something in the back, just to kind of give it something a little bit different. And this is what I did for this one. This is just a display case that you could buy at Walmart. Most of them that I have bought from Walmart has just the clear bottom. This particular one had a mirror bottom, and it's not mirror, it's not glass mirror, it's like the shiny foil type cardboard. It's got the protective cover on. You peel it off and put it on. That's what it looks like. And I went online and excuse me, sorry about that. I went online and pulled up some Chi-Town Hustler logos, and I know the car is blocking most of it, but it says just Chi-Town Hustler at the bottom. You can't see it. It's got Farconis coil and Minic. I can't really tell when you can kind of tell a little bit more about it. And the reason I don't take this lid off is it fits skin tight with that logo glued to the inside of the cover. But like I said, the car came out great. There's nothing fancy, just to give it a little bit of something, so it's just not sitting up there in a clear plastic case. And so that's that. All right, on to the next project. I didn't really know what I wanted to do for this next one. I've got several kits. I got some for Christmas. This is one I got for Christmas, and this is what I'm going to be doing. Seems like there's been a flurry of these cars being built lately. It's the Foose 64 Chevy Impala. I will not be building it. It will not look like this one. It will not be this color, although I do like this color. I thought about building it this color. The decal sheet, I'll be losing a lot of decals I'm not going to be using. They have some pretty neat little decals for the upholstery. They're white. Well, I'll just take them out and show them to you. I don't want to do an unboxing. I've got most of the parts already washed and dried, and they're in my little storage compartment over here for assembly, and I'll probably do some priming tomorrow. These decals here are like for your upholstery. I got the blue trim and what have you, so I'll be losing all those and all of these, and then the blue pin striping that goes on the side of the top of the car. But I won't be doing that. Here's the colors we're going to be using, and I'm going to be doing something a little bit different, trying something a little bit different, and I may have lost my mind doing it, but we're going to be using 4 different kinds of paint, 4 different brands of paint, and I'm going to be doing 2 different types of paint. The body is going to be the Folk Art Metallic Antique Copper. It's a really nice color copper. I don't know if you can see that. It's past a bronze and not quite a copper either, but I really like that. The copper that they make is a little bit light, a little bit orangish. I didn't really want to do that. The interior will be trail tan, and then we will accent. This is ceramic coat trail tan, and then we'll do the seat and accents with this moccasin brown, which is Anita's. You may be wondering, well, why didn't you just buy the same brand? Well, for one thing, Folk Art, no one makes the metallics like Folk Art does. The Folk Art metallics are great. They have they cover well. They have a really good pigment to them. They stand up well to thinning with Future, and unless you just really over thin it. And so I like to use the Folk Art metallics. They are they're pretty much in scale. There's a couple of the colors that are a little bit out. The Christmas green is a little bit out, and the sequin black is a little bit big for 1/25th scale, the metallic part. But I really couldn't find a trim that I liked, a accent color that I liked in the other colors, as well as I like this moccasin brown. It wasn't just to say I could paint with 3 different kinds of craft paint. And then the trail tan was another reason why I got that. Was I always try to shoot for ceramic coat first, so I picked out this for my interior color first. But it was close between. Anita's had one that was pretty close to this, but this one here, of those 3, this one really probably goes on better than the other two do. So we're going to use the trail tan, and then we're going to use the accent trim will be the moccasin brown. The top will be the Testors 1 coat, and I've already been playing around with it just to see how it goes on and what it looks like and what have you. Will be the Testors 1 coat White Lightning. So we're going to be using a lacquer for the top and craft acrylic for the interior and the body, and 3 different kinds of craft acrylic at that. So you may say, well, he's probably fallen out of his modeling chair and hit his head and lost his mind, and you may be right, but we're going to give it a shot. I have some things in mind too that I'm not going to say anything about until I try them out, see how they come out. I don't want to have to do a complete 360 on changing up what I've got planned. And I've got some things in my mind that I'm still kind of rolling around a little bit, but we'll see how it comes out as we go along. And it may change. I may not, who knows. I may start spraying this color on the body and say, well, I don't like that, and may change color to something else. But for now, that's what we're going to do. So this particular model has a lot of parts to it. I think it said it had 144. Now some of them, a lot of them I won't be using actually, because some of them are for the stock. It is a stock. It's a 2-in-1. It doesn't say it on the kit. Yes, no, it doesn't. It is a 2-in-1. You can build it stock. The suspension has 2 different ride height adjustments. You can build it with a stock stance or kind of a low rider stance. The jury's still out on that one. I know that I'm not a big fan of low riders, but for what I kind of have in mind, I may go ahead with the low setting on them and use the low profile tires. It has some stock tires, some stock hubcaps, and then some low profile tires and large, I guess, would probably be 20-inch wheels as well. So I'll have to kind of play that by ear as it goes along. So, but anyways, I'm going to call this one finished. Like I said, once again, thanks for watching and subbing. I'd like to thank all my subscribers. I'm up, I think, to 120. Appreciate it. I appreciate all the kind words and comments in response to the Chi-Town Hustler. I'll probably do a couple of maybe custom street rod type things, since we've done a couple of race type things with the bus and the Hustler. And then I may go back and I may go do a pickup after that. I'm not sure, and I'm going to do at some point this year. I'm going to make myself. I'm going to do a semi tractor. Probably won't have a trailer with it. I may try to do a custom type show semi tractor. So we'll see how that goes, if I can find one that I really like. So I kind of give you a little heads up on what's coming down the road. We'll call this finished. Hope everyone has a great work week. If you're fortunate enough like me to have tomorrow off, get in a little build time if you can. Until I talk to you again, take care of one another. May God bless you and your family, and we'll see you later.